Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I welcome you to the online classes being organized by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. In this online class, we are dealing with MA English second year's paper 7 or course 7, that is aspects of language and their relation to literature. Before we go on discussing today's topic, I want you to quickly recall what we discussed in the previous class regarding this topic. I think we began first by understanding the paper itself, the title of the paper itself, that is aspects of language and their relation to literature. Why these two different streams of the discipline, that is language and literature, have been combined together in a paper and prescribed for you in MA English. And in order to understand that, we realize that language and literature both coexist and both complement each other, right? And we took up examples of how a person aspiring or attempting to learn the language is exposed to literature, right? We took example of the basic rhymes that are taught at the primary school level, to the non-detailed and fiction and poetry exposed to the student in the higher classes, right? And similarly, when you look into literature, when we analyze literature, we will realize that there are a lot of features of the language that enrich or make what literature is, right? For example, the rhyme, rhythm, hmm, and a lot of other figures of speech, literary devices. All those are features of a language. But those features, when used in producing literature, they are the ones that make the literature what it is. Okay? They actually bejevel or beautify or enrich literature. Literature without these features of the language are like if I am permitted to give this example, it's like tea without sugar. If you do not have these linguistic features in a piece of literature, then it would be treated as if you have tea but without sugar. So that sweetness, that beauty, that richness, comes into the piece of literature because of features of the language. I hope you are able to hear me. I hope you are able to follow me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. So, yeah, that this is one of the reason why Dr. Ambedkar University thought out of the box and conceptualized a paper where there is a combination of language and literature. And there is also a global trend of teaching uh, language through literature. Okay, and that trend also has contributed in thinking out of the box and coming up with this paper. Okay, after that we moved on to talk about Indian literature, right? This is one of the topics or main topics in your course, course 7. So when we began talking about Indian literature, it was essential, and it is essential to first understand the nomenclature, to understand the very title of that we are talking about. So we tried to reflect on what Indian means, right? As you and I can claim that we are Indians, right? We do so primarily because we say that I was born and brought up in a place which is associated with or which is part of India, right? And that is why I'm Indian by birth. That was the first criteria we took into consideration when defining India, right? The adjective Indian. And there are additional criteria that were discussed in the previous class, right? Some of bright students in this online classroom contributed a few of the criteria. Like somebody said that if a person whose forefathers might have been born in India, but when he goes to other place and remain connected to the Indian roots and talks about the Indian uh, history, culture, civilization, right? Then that person can also be, considered Indian. This may not strictly be in legal, terms, but culturally, yes, that is possible. And that is why we have subcategory within Indian literature, that is diaspora literature, right? So Indian diaspora is spread across multiple countries and continents, may it be Australia, Asia, or America, or some other continents, right? And if we take example of the Asian continent, then we have our people, that is Indian people, in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Singapore, and Far East uh, Asia, like Japan, China. So you name a country, and we are there, right? In some places we are very less, but in many places we are in greater number, right? And so is the case with Australia. There are a lot of Indian people in Australia. A country is like Malaysia, Indonesia, Gulf, right? Gulf countries like Arabia, UAE. So many countries in Middle East also where we have a significant presence. And Britain, of course, right, being the colonizer earlier of the Indian territories. So we also have fair number of people in British territories, right? In England, in Britain. And similarly, we have considerable presence in Canada and America as well. And this is in some of the places, we also have people who write and who reflect on Indian culture, Indian civilization, Indian history and politics, right? So yeah, that is what contributes to the diasporic literature, right? And it's a good thing that we have presence spread across the globe. Okay, so that was the second point we dealt with in detail. I hope you are following me and I am audible enough. If you find any kind of technical difficulties related to network, voice, right, or the screen not being visible, you let me know this. Okay. Yeah, and during my explanation, if you get any kind of doubt, or if you want to ask anything, you may raise a hand or you may request, and I'll allow you to do or to ask questions. Yes. So that was the second point we took up when we were defining Indian. And the third point we discussed at length is the very nature of India being diverse, plural, right? And diverse in terms of language, linguistic diversity we have cultural diversity, religious diversity, right? And diversity in so many aspects. Okay, so then what would uh, we call somebody producing literature in Malayalam from Kerala, or somebody producing literature in Bengali from West Bengal, or a person producing literature in Gujarati from Gujarat, right? In Punjabi from Punjab, in Kashmiri from Kashmir, right? In Urdu from Lucknow or Hyderabad. So, or any other, regional language. So to understand that, we went back to the Indian currency note, right? Where we find, many languages written, right? And somebody said those are 13, 14. So whatever number that may be, we know that, even our currency note reflects the diversity, linguistic diversity we have. So Indian Constitution also recognizes many languages, but there are more number of languages we have than we recognize. Okay, and some surveys and some official surveys also uh, uh, note that there are as many as 1,000 plus or 1,500 plus different languages, including dialects, right? But not all languages, as I told you, have a script, written script. So that is why uh, not all those are spoken are taken into consideration when we are talking about written printed literature. Okay, and yes, coming to languages, let me take you to the slide where we talked about languages. Yes. So coming to the languages, that one particular survey, informs us that there are 780 languages and 66 different scripts in India. Okay, and we also realized that uh, Telugu is written in which script? Somebody found out in the last class, right?
Brahmi.
Brahmi, yes. And then you have Punjabi written in Gurmukhi, and Hindi and Sanskrit are written in Devanagari, right? And Urdu is written in Perso-Arabic script. Hmm? So yeah, so when we say script, it means the written symbols associated with the language, right? Uh, all the punctuations, all the letters in an alphabet, all those are actually nothing but part of the script. Okay, when we say script, that is the written representation of the language. Okay, and we also try to understand that a country like us, we have group of languages or family of languages. Okay, like for example, uh, uh, we have uh, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam connected to each other, right? Because they are sister languages or belong to same family of languages, and we call it as Dravidian languages, right? And if you go up in the north of India, then we have Aryan family of languages. Okay. And I'm not very sure whether the languages spoken in the Meghalaya and that the far northeast of India are associated with the Aryan languages or some other family of languages that I'm not very sure about. But by and large, we have two major, family of languages in India: Aryan family of languages and Dravidian family of languages. So that is why, a lot of vocabulary, grammatical rules, and other things are there. Also, maybe, similarity in scripts, right? If you have seen written Telugu script, right? And if you keep Kannada written script side by side, right? Something written in Kannada and something written in Telugu, you may find that they appear similar, right? So it is also because of having the same family. Well, so from there, we moved on to understand that the Indian Academy of Letters, that is Sahitya Academy, promotes 24 Indian languages, including English, right? English is also considered Indian because a large majority of Indians speak English, and English was used as administrative language. Uh, in Indian context, right from British era. So these are the 24. These 24 languages are the languages in which whatever is written and published is actually projected or marketed as Indian literature by Sahitya Academy in its Indian Literature Journal. Okay. Well, we covered, we tried to, recall whatever we did in the previous class for the benefit of those who couldn't, attend the last class, and also there was a lot of, disturbance in the previous class because of, my travel. I hope you got the gist of, what we discussed in the previous class. Have you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much for responding. And I need this kind of quick response time and again, so that I'll get an assurance that I'm connected, I am with you. Okay. Otherwise, I may not be able to ascertain whether everything is working fine technically and
Uh,
technologically.
Sir, we're giving you example. I'm just giving you by messages.
Mhm.
Sorry, and good morning, sir.
Good
Sir,
point.
when you're talking about diaspora, or when we are talking about, you were talking about the different types of, when we come to the north and when we come to the east, and different types of, places.
Mm.
What kind of questions could come that we should answer this question, sir? Like last year, we had the family of languages and
Mhm.
in British English. Now, what kind of questions can come with respect to about the languages, sir?
About the languages. Okay. No,
Yes, like for
we,
example, you're talking about when we go north, it's Dravidian. When we go Aryan, when we come down south, Dravidian. So, what type of a question can we expect here, sir?
yeah. So if you are asking me about, what kind of question may come in the examination point of view,
Yes.
then I urge you to have some patience, because from examination point of view also, we'll discuss things at the maybe in the last but one class. Okay, which I usually do with all my batches. Okay,
No worries.
but
Thank you.
yeah, our understanding of subject and the discipline is is at a higher level. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Studying for examination is very limited thing, which is important. I understand, from a student point of view, examination is important, but the world is much bigger than that, and the subject is also much broader than the exam itself. Okay.
Um,
So these things, if you are Indian, then say, I wish, you go and explore the world, right? If you happen to visit, Japan for some personal work or for, career, right? So if somebody asks you, what do you know about India? Oh, I like you. You are an Indian. Can you tell something about India? Right? Then what would you say, being a student of language and literature? If you do not know that
uh,
there are 1,000 plus languages in India, right? and there are 66 different scripts in which literature is produced in India, right? And there are 1,000 plus ways in which people interact with each other. Now that, if you say that, then you will feel very proud of yourself when representing your culture as an ambassador, right? In an unofficial capacity, you would be acting as an ambassador of the cultural ambassador of the country. So that is why it is important to have this proper context of language and literatures that is produced in India. So this topic gives us an opportunity to understand our own Indian literature. Okay, but strictly from examination point of view, then you have things like these four topics: Indian literary traditions. So first we understood what Indian means, right? And what kind of literature produced would be considered Indian from an official point of view. But then we can move on to talk about the traditions that we have uh, uh, in our country. Okay. Well, so we are done with quickly recapping or recalling uh, what we discussed in the previous class. Okay. Now let us move on to today's topic. That is, this is where we stopped in the last class. If you remember, we stopped at this topic, that is Indian literary traditions, right? So we are not talking about any traditions, any general traditions we may have in our country, right? And I, I think I told you that we have traditions related to how we eat food. We have traditions related to how we wear clothes, right? We have traditions related to what we pray and how we pray. We have traditions to how we buy and sell goods in the market, right? There's so many things, I just got a flash of one particular ad, you know, advertised by Amazon, right? A few years ago, Amazon was expanding its e-commerce operation in India, right? And then there was a very interesting ad. And that ad says, that ad was, scrolling so many items quickly, one, right? And then the line, the dialogue was, or the cow, right? So scrolling hundreds of items, right, to find one appropriate for our needs. So with that, the ad, tried to convey that, we Indians have a tradition, or say we have the habit of, looking at so many things before deciding, one particular thing. Okay. So when it comes to, buying thing, we have that kind of, tradition. Okay, we see a lot of items. Even if you go to, a shop, clothes shopping or any other shopping, uh, कुछ और है तो बताइए भैया, right? We say that. So what all you have, please show us. Then we'll decide what to buy, right? So that may not be case with other people, right? Other cultures, right? And that is why our shopping is a full day or a lot of time consuming exercise. Okay, and that is what we are, and that is what we enjoy doing it. So that's not a problem. Well, so what I'm trying to say is, we have traditions associated with, all kind of activities in our life, right? And yes, right, from food to clothes to work to so many other aspects of life. Okay. Now, but when it comes to in literature, right? When it comes to literary traditions, right? The fourth thing that we are going to discuss with reference to the course is that these are the traditions that are like classical traditions. Okay, these are not contemporary tradition. These are classical tradition. Right? And as with any other thing, literary traditions, which goes back to thousands of years, right, have enriched, Indian uh, literature and also shaped, various disciplines within the country. So one such discipline shaped because of, this philosophical understanding of the subject is, literature. Okay, we'll start with first, that is Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Can anybody please, read out these four different, uh, theories or name of these theories? I request, some of one of you to, read the four different, theories we are going to take up for discussion. It's visible on the screen. You may give a try.
So on which page are we?
Hmm.
On which page are we?
No, you can just look at the screen that I'm sharing.
Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra.
Yes.
Panini's Astyayan. Astyayan.
Astadhyay.
Astadhyay.
Hmm.
Abhinava Gupta Rasa theory and Kuntaka's Vakroti Vityam.
Uh,
Ro-
Vakrokti Jeevitam.
Vakroti Jeevitam. Yes. Hmm.
Yes.
Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra, Panini's Astadhyay, Abhinava Gupta's Rasa theory, and Kuntaka's Vakrokti Jeevitam. These are the four different, classical theories related to literature or literary production or performative arts can be, or is prescribed as part of your syllabus, and will be taking that up. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, again, I need some volunteer to read the text on screen. Then we'll discuss it.
Yeah. Bharata, Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra, 200 BCE and 200 CE. The Natya Shastra is an ancient treatise on the arts. It is also notable for its aesthetic rasa theory, which asserts that entertainment is a desired effect of performance arts but not the primary goal, and that the primary goal is to transport the individual in the audience into another parallel reality full of wonder, where he experiences the essence of his own consciousness and reflects on spiritual and moral questions. The text further inspired secondary literature such as Abhinava Bharati, an example of classic Sanskrit Bhashya, reviews and commentaries written by Abhinava Gupta.
Well, thank you so much. Right. So we are, discussing Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Right. Within bracket, we have a timeline. Right. The timeline is 200 BCE and 200 CE. Now, what does this BCE and CE denote? Any idea? When I say 1947, you quickly understand. Right. When I say 2025, you understand. Right. Because the timeline or the time period that we are following is contemporary, and we know that, this is, uh, normal, as per Gregorian calendar, the existing, classification of, period or years. But when I say, or when we see on the screen that, it's 200 BCE and 200 CE, we have both BC, 200 same, but there is only difference in BCE and CE. There is extra B in the first one. So how this extra B uh, is, changing everything in terms of, starting date and ending date. No idea? So for that, we have to go back and see this one. I hope you are able to see the
Yes, sir.
timeline.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have BC, BCE, AD, and CE terms. BC stands for before Christ.
Nice.
BC,
Anno Domini is AD.
BCE stands
Anno
for before Common Era. AD stands for Anno Domini, and CE stands for Common Era, whereas BP for before present. That is before AD. Well, now we usually come across CE, BC, AD. Sometimes BCE also. By and large, these are the Western classification of the time. Okay. Now, in Western classification of time, they record things with the start of Christ, with the birth of the with the birth of
Before
the
the
Christ.
before the birth of Christ and after the death of Christ. Before Christ and after Christ.
Yeah. So what we say, the hook or the reference point is the birth of the Christ. Okay. So anything that happened before the birth of Christ is actually taken as BC. Okay. And from the birth of the Christ onwards, okay, we have another calculation. Okay. Then okay, there is something also called common era. Now, when we are talking about 200 BC and 200 BCE, right? What was ours? 200 BCE and 200 CE. So CE is this middle dotted lines. Okay, this is common era. Okay, so there is one 500 after it, and there is one 500 before it. Can you spot it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is one vertical dotted line in saffron color, right? Era, right side of it is actually CE, that is common era, and era after at the left hand side is actually BCE. So which means when we say 200 BCE, right, which would be somewhere this 218 BC, right? You see 208 BC. Somewhere here you have 200 BCE, right?
Yeah.
And then you have 200 after this line, and then which would be before this 500. So it is in these particular times we got a theory given by Bharat, sorry, given by Bharat Muni. Natya Shastra is given by Bharat Muni somewhere between these years, which would be around 400 years, right? Or is it more?
So when we do the calculations, either we are going adding or we'll be minusing.
So no, 200 to 0. This middle line is 0, say. So this 200 and this 200. So which would be around 400. So somewhere in these 400s, we have got the Natya Shastra. Okay. Perhaps they have done carbon dating, or they might have done a forensic study of the survived script, or maybe based on the reference in the text, right? Some clues in the text, they might have calculated the production time or the origin of this particular script to 200 BCE or 200 CE, between this time. Okay, there are different ways in which archaeologists or forensic experts date things. So we are not going to go into that because that's not our area. Just to understand this, yeah, it is actually a very old classical theory of art. Okay, now this particular treatise or theory applies not only on literature, applies on arts in general, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we do MA, which is nothing but Master of Arts. So there are multiple subjects that comes under arts. And MA economics, economics is also an art. MA political science is also an art. So there are multiple disciplines, right, that comes under arts, right? And here it is this particular theory is applicable to arts in general. Okay. Now, second, it is also notable for its aesthetic rasa theory, which asserts that entertainment is a desired effect of performance arts, but not the primary goal. And that the primary goal is to transport the individual in the audience into another parallel reality. Now, we are trying to understand the specifics of this theory, right? First thing, whenever from examination point of view it comes, the moment you hear Natya Shastra, you please mention it is given by Bharat Muni, right? And it dates back to 200 BCE or 200 CE. First thing. Second, you can say that this theory is an ancient treatise on arts. Natya Shastra is an ancient treatise on
Art.
arts.
It
Third
is
point,
Natya in Telugu is like dance or in that form of art, sir? Dance and
yeah,
whatever.
Natya, yes. Natya means yes. Shastra means principles, rules, right? Okay, that way also you can remember.
Last year, we came across some theories that were taught by Mr. Kishore in aesthetics, and that was, rasa theory and all those. Some of the theories, they gave a general idea about them last year, and some of the theories came for the exams also last year, in the first year of MA. Rasa theory, they gave a couple of the theories.
Okay, we'll discuss that as part of in.
Okay, sir. It came in criticism, and Mr. Kishore has taught us that, sir. Professor Kishore. Sir, we can't hear you. Pratyusha, I'm sorry. Can you hear, sir? He's not audible. Hello?
Yes, Mildred.
Sir, I can't hear him. He's not audible.
I think sir is not there.
Okay. Is it that the class is over? Or maybe he's gone?
No,
Okay, maybe.
More half an hour is there.
Acha, acha, acha. Sometimes these
maybe
are.
disconnected. Maybe disconnected.
Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, there was no internet connectivity issue. I think we are back. Are you able to hear me right now?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Sorry. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
worries.
So we are talking about,
Bharat Muni's
now.
Natya Shastra.
Yeah. So now we'll understand what this theory is and how it's related to literature, and in what way it's going to understand our is going to benefit our understanding of arts and performing arts. Yes. So rasa means we have you heard of Rasagulla?
Yes, sir, it's about
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah. Rasa
It's
means
the
flavor.
famous of Bengal.
Yes. So rasa in that means flavor.
Oh,
Okay. So now it is also yeah. Now this particular theory, which is in general applicable to arts, has one specific component that is related to aesthetics, right? The beauty. Okay. The
yes,
beauty, the taste. Okay.
yes, it's a flavor. Rasa.
Yeah.
Hindi
Yeah.
ras means, the juice of,
Rasagulla, ras, yes.
yes,
Ras malai. The rases are added to so many things,
yes.
where you have flavor.
It is even related to being clever.
Mm.
Clever. Did you say clever?
No, flavor,
Flavor. Okay, thank you, sir.
not flavor. Yes. So one aspect of this treatise is related to the aesthetics. Okay. Which says that any performative act, right, uh, should be you know should be able to take the individual who is part of the audience into another parallel reality, right? And it also uh, should entertain, but not as a primary goal. Now, I'll give you an example. If you are watching a performance on a stage by a dancer or a musician, okay, or somebody uh, making a speech. Now, this theory says the primary goal is to take the people into a different reality. What does that mean? It means
It's taking us to the next level. Level of understanding, level of, the taste, or level of, you know, in a different term.
is it? No, let me give one working on example. This is this example should help us understand the point I'm trying to make with reference to the definition of Natya Shastra. Okay. Now a few years ago I went to a wedding party. It
Okay.
was uh, organized in a large function hall, which we usually see in Hyderabad. I went to that party with a complete black suit,
Okay,
the
dress.
pant being black, the coat being black, and the shirt being white, and with a metallic watch and neat black frames of my glass. And I combed my hair and applied oil so that it also looks dark. Okay. I reached in time, and the moment I reached there, the dinner was ready. Again, there were a lot of people waiting for the right signal or green signal from the organizers to go and join the table. And there were many people, around 100 or so, waiting. And as we got the green signal, so people started entering the dining area, and so do I. And when we went in, we saw that there are many tables. I couldn't count it at the time because of the rush that I was in. And each table had the capacity to seat 10 or 12 people. Some are uh, large enough to accommodate 10 people. Some had capacity to seat 10 people, 10 and 12. That was around two different numbers. And I got a chance on a table where we had 10 people. So I was the 10th along with 9 other people. And the table was large enough, and there was a white sheet of cloth over it, and that white cloth, is covered with polythene to avoid any kind of accidental stain on the white sheet. And on that table, there was a large platter in the middle, having fried chicken drumsticks, prawns, fish, right, and maybe that chicken 65, right, and gobi Manchuria, and there was one more circle within that platter, uh, uh, decorated with different pieces of salad, capsicum red, capsicum green, capsicum yellow, and you have light green color cabbage sliced and spread across. And then we also had light pink color onion pieces, neatly cut and finely decorated. And
Arranged.
in the arranged, and in the middle we had a huge tomato cut as if it is a decorated piece rather than a tomato. And the aroma, one cannot resist it. And that was not the only thing. There were so many other items around that platter. The bowls of soup, a bowl of marag, and a bowl of curd, right? And so many other items on that table.
So then you're taking us to
No,
another level only.
so I think you are also enjoying along with me.
It seems like you're taking us to another level, and your entry, like
Exactly. So Natya Shastra says the performance. I'm not giving a performance. I was trying to give an example only. So the Natya Shastra says, right, the person who is performing, right, should be able to take the audience into a different reality. Now, your reality and my reality is I am sitting in front of a laptop, right, taking a serious, academic lecture. And your situation is, you are in your place, listening to a person who is not visible, but only the screen, right? Person speaking, from behind the, screen. Yet, when I am talking to you, I was, for a moment at least, a couple of seconds, I was able to take you to the party that I attended. And you are able to realize that flavors, that different textures, right? And the audience, the environment. You are able to feel it. You are able to sense it. So Natya Shastra says the goal, the purpose of a performance in any art should be to take the audience into different reality, to let them experience a different reality than the one they are already in. So you and I are in a different reality right now, but for a moment, we went on a journey, right? We flew on the wings of imagination and experienced something different. That should be the primary goal according to Bharat Muni as per Natya Shastra. And the other secondary goal is to entertain, right? So entertainment comes as a second, goal in Natya Shastra. The primary should always be to take the audience into a different realm, different reality, even though for some time. Okay. Entertain means when you come out, you feel relaxed.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, now I started this class. Please for disturbing. Sorry. Tell me which unit, sir.
That's a very difficult question you have asked. We were trying to experience reality on a different realm, and suddenly you come in and you make us realize that, oh, no, 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 the reality is different. So thank you. You just bear with us. Somebody from your class will let you know what we are dealing with. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
excuse me and let me continue. I'll try to complete this topic. Okay.
Okay.
So we are talking about Indian traditions, and within that, Indian literary traditions, and within Indian literary traditions, there are four we are going to talk about, possibly in this class. And within that four, we are on the first, that is Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Okay. And if you
Okay.
open your textbook, you will find this topic in the last few units, somewhere in the last few units. I don't have a textbook right now, otherwise I would have told you the page number, the topic, and all those things. Okay. Now, shall I continue?
Okay, sir. Continue. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So this is the entertainment, right? When we are talking about very serious things, suddenly some kind of comic act happens, and everybody gets entertained. So that is the secondary goal of performance, art performance. Okay. So whether it is music concert or it's a dance, performance or something like that, then audience should be entertained and also made to experience a different reality, okay, according to Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Now the definition continues. Okay, full of wonder, where the audience experience the essence of his own consciousness and reflects on his spiritual and moral questions. Okay, now in the example that I gave you, neither you nor I reflected on any moral questions, right? We went there in a different realm to entertain ourselves, to enjoy, not to reflect from a spiritual or moral point of view. Did we?
You went there for an entertainment. You entered,
Yeah,
like you said, you
yeah.
got dressed and the fascinating food and the aroma and the levels of arrangements.
So in a nutshell, it was an entertainment, joy, happiness, right? And unfortunately, by and large, we have become so used to these kind of things that we barely get time or we barely pay attention to reflecting on our existence, why we are who we are, what we are doing, and why we are doing what we are doing, right? Is there any higher
Yes, there's
purpose
like
of
kind
our
of
life?
chaos, not
We are into our day-to-day life so much so that we don't think about life itself. If I am earning, why I am earning? If I am spending, why I am spending? What am I doing with my life? Uh, is this what it is? Is this how people have understood the life to be? These are all higher, philosophical questions we stopped, talking about and discussing. And thanks to consumer mindset we have been conditioned with, we have become so much, consumer mind centric. We have been conditioned in last at least 50 or 60 years that we don't think about anything that is spiritual, anything that is philosophical, anything that has higher goals in life. So we eat like any other species do. We sleep like any other species sleep. We get up with the sun, with the dawn, like any other species does, and we go to bed with sunset as any other species do. We stopped actually, unfortunately, or we are not getting time, or we are so much busy that we don't pay attention to the uh, these philosophical questions that Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra says. Even in a performance whose presumed goal should be entertainment, right? Watching a movie should entertain us. Watching a music performance should entertain us.
Comedy.
Even in a Yeah.
Comedy.
So even comedies and all those things, right? So even in that Natya Shastra's Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra says, even in that kind of entertaining performance, the goal should be to think, to reflect on spiritual and moral questions. Are we doing that? I would
Depending,
say.
so we cannot say that all. See, when there sometimes it's very satirical, the comedies. So they're taken like in two different aspects. Whatever be the comedy, when we are learning about different things in our literature, the comedy of manners, and it's giving us an explanation, about what was the situation, and what were the kind of difficulties and problems they faced. At the same time, they were giving it like making it entertaining for us, like we are
Mhm.
talking about Gurjara Aparav's, comedy of manners. So in everything, it's for us to have, a soul to understand what the grievances, what the social problems or the evils that were occurring in the society at that time. So for everything, if we think that, that there is no moral or there is no, but there is something that we take back in every aspect of life. For example, you
Mhm.
went to the program, you enjoyed yourself, you dressed up well, you at the end of the day, I would say that that there was something that the emotional bonding about, you met with people, you sat around with them, there was some connect somewhere. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I don't know, but this is my way of thing.
Okay, no, yeah, that could be some exceptions, but my point here is, not all are thinking about it. Not all performances are taking you to, reflect on spiritual and moral questions, right?
Okay, sir.
That's what the point is. What Bharat Muni is trying to tell us is that, all performance of arts should not only give you entertainment as a secondary goal, but as a primary goal, it should take you to a different reality. It should make you wonder about it. It should make you experience the sense of your own being and consciousness. And also it should help you reflect on spiritual and moral questions. So this is what is missing, right? You might have heard of that repetitive phrase, entertainment, entertainment, and entertainment. Yes, that is there. But the other part, which our ancestors, Indian ancestors, have asked you to indulge in, that is apart from entertainment, your performance should help the people reflect about themselves, about their own existence, about their own moral and philosophical questions. That is what is missing in today's consumeristic society. That society doesn't want you to think about all those things. The moment you think about it, you think that you are being used, you are being exploited for some profit. So it is time we go back to our text. It's time we go back to our Indian philosophical traditions and think for a moment, are we doing the right thing? If you're doing the right thing, then how far that is right? At least from this treatise point of view, we have entertainment, no doubt about it, in all kind of performances that we have the privilege to see, watch, or listen to. But the other part that this theory propagates, that is, reflection on the existence, on variety of questions related to morality and spirituality. That is what is missing right now, and that is what we need to do something about, starting from us as individuals. Those who are producing entertainment, they may not be aware of this, or even if they are aware, they are not paying attention to it, because if they start doing all these things, so they bring in this spirituality and moral questions into their performance, maybe their performance will become flop. A lot of alternate movies that talk about variety of social issues, but they flop on the uh, big screen, box office. So, Mirchi Masala, full to entertainment, what gives back profits, not those movies that talk about societal issues. There is some problem, not at maybe at the uh, uh, producers level, artist level, but at the consumers level. We as consumers have become so much entertainment oriented that we don't want to see anything that is serious, that reflects on social issues. And on the contrary, our Indian tradition says you should reflect. Your life is not a play, it's not entertainment. Life is a serious business. You take entertainment, you enjoy your life, no doubt about it. Let that be the secondary goal. But the primary goal is to think seriously about variety of issues facing us, our existence. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra says. Right? So, then the last part is the text further inspired secondary literature such as the Abhinava Bharati, an example of a classical Sanskrit Bhashya, that is reviews and commentaries written by Abhinava Gupta. Okay, this very treaty, which was this treatise, which was written in 200 BCE to 200 CE, between these states, you know, inspired other texts based on this particular theory of Bharat Muni. Other texts, other commentaries have been written, and one such example is Abhinava Bharati. That is the name of the text that was inspired by Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra, and it is written by Abhinava Gupta. Okay. I hope you are able to follow me. I hope I have not made this class too serious based on this Bharat Muni's, the definition of performance art. Are you with me, or have I lost the connection?
No, sir, we are.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, so I hope you have understood all these things. If you have any questions, related to the topic that we have covered today, you may please, ask, or any doubts you may have, you can ask. We have 10-15 minutes more, so we'll take up questions. No more questions, no clarifications required on any of the topic that we have dealt with. You can type also in the chat box if you don't feel like asking directly. We have one more, two more. Shall we continue with this, or shall we continue with the next one, next topic?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as I told you, Natya Shastra inspired, other writer, that is Abhinava Gupta, right? Now Abhinava Gupta has come up with another theory, that is Rasa theory, which is more popular. And I'm sure you have somebody told me that you have already read about this theory in the previous year, right? Can you tell me something about it? Or we will start with reading the text on the screen. Yes. Any volunteer to read the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Rasa, Sanskrit essence, taste or flavors, literally sap or juice. Indian concept of aesthetic flavor, an essential element of any work of visual, literally or performing art. It was developed by the rhetorician and philosopher Abhinav Gupta. The principal human feelings, according to Bharata, are delight, laughter, sorrow, anger, energy, fear, disgust, heroism, and at- astonishment, all of which may be recast in contemplative form as the various rasas: erotic, comic, pathetic, furious, heroic, terrible, odious, marvelous, and that ones are twist,
Quite
twisted
a stick.
stick.
Quite a stick.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So rasa is actually a Sanskrit word which means essence, taste, or flavor, right? Whose literal meaning is sap or juice. Okay. Now, this Indian concept of aesthetic flavor, an essential element of any work of visual, literary, or performing art. Okay. As per Abhinava Gupta's Rasa theory, right? Aesthetic flavor is an essential element of any work of, whether it's visual performing art, or visual art, literary art, or performative art. Any of these performance which gives which it entertains us in terms of visuals, maybe photography is a visual art, right? Or literary, written, whether poem or a story or something. Performing art, like concert, music concert, dance performance and all. So any of these, performing arts essentially should have aesthetic flavor. It was developed by rhetorician and philosopher Abhinava Gupta in C to 1000. Right? I think if you go back and see what this 1000 means, I think this is 1000 AD, somewhere around 1000 AD. C denotes circa, right? Which is, I think, common era. What does it mean? Okay, so which is nothing but approximately 1,000, which means in common era, right? Common era around 200 is the period, right, where Bharat Muni might have given that theory. So some say 100 years or more than 700 years later, uh, Abhinava Gupta took inspiration from Natya Shastra's theory, and he came up with his own theory called Rasa theory, which is related to uh, work of visual, literary, or performing art. Okay? Yes, so the principal human feelings, according to Bharata, are delight, laughter, sorrow, anger, energy, fear, disgust, heroism, and astonishment, all of which may be recast in contemplative form as various rasas. Okay, there are 9 rasas according to Abhinav Gupta's rasa theory. They are erotic, comic, pathetic, furious, heroic, terrible, odious, marvelous, and quietistic. These are the English equivalent of uh, the Sanskrit terms of rasas. You have Bhayankara, right? Hasya, Kurodha, Rudra. So those are the actually Sanskrit terminologies for these,
Emotions, 9
yeah,
emotions.
9 emotions. Yes. So the English equivalent of those emotions are erotic, comic, right? Pathetic, furious, heroic, terrible, odious, marvelous, and artistics. Okay. So this particular theory or Indian literary tradition has influenced 3 different kinds of arts: visual, literary, and performative. Okay. I think with this, we'll try to wind up the class. If you do not have any further questions, we'll try to wind up the class and continue with the remaining Indian literary traditions in the next class. Okay. And I I urge you, I request you to go through the material provided to you by the university. And when now after this class, if you read Indian literary tradition, it would make a lot of sense to you, and you will be able to note down a lot of points from examination point of view. Even after your exercise, if you get doubts, you please make a note of it. And in the next class, when we connect online again, you can bring those doubts and questions for further clarification. Okay, and hopefully after this you have one more class, right? Am I right? You have one more class after this?
Sir, we have lots of classes lined up till 6:30 in the evening.
Okay, so what I'll do is, considering the engagement in online classes back to back, I'll relieve you 5 minutes prior to the end of the class so that you can, relax and join the next class. Okay. So take care of yourself. Thank you so much for joining this class, and I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for all your
Thank you, sir.
efforts you make.
Thank you.
We are very
Thank
grateful.
you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.